Hey fragrance friends and enthusiasts, welcome back. What can I say? It's Benjamin here at the Centaur Fragrance channel. First off, before we jump into the video, happy holidays, happy new year. I hope that you're able to spend time with your loved ones, friends, and family. And let's jump into the video today. I wanted to make a special list to help you find mass appealing fragrances of 2020, some fragrances you might fall in love with. And this isn't my personal list. You know, sometimes I want really unique or daring or more experimental fragrances, but these are some of the most wearable, enjoyable, likable fragrances of 2020, and I wanted to put them out there, and I think some of these might get hyped. I think some of these might just become really big in the fragrance community, so let's see what 2021 brings us, and let's jump into the first fragrance here. This one is called Morning Chest from the house of Vilhem Fragrances. I think that this one is really going to become popular. It does have a little bit of a pineapple, almost a vintage type of vibe off the top. Then it quickly becomes more of a wearable, like a white amber type of scent. It has some incense, it has some woods, it has some fresh green elements. But that opening is absolutely stunning with this fragrance. It reminds you of like a cold, crisp day if you were go to, the golfing grass, or to go play chess in the, New York Park. It has this like fresh, green, lively quality about it, and it has some excitement behind it. So this is a feel-good fragrance, but then it dries down to this woody, almost meditative type of incensey quality to this fragrance. Really likable, really fresh, especially off the opening, and just really blended very well. I think this Morning Chest has a great balance of something almost fruity and Aventus-like, but yet bring something interesting and likable and wearable for maybe a lot of us who have smelled this type of smell time and time again, over and over and over. This does bring something, I think, a little bit interesting to the fragrance game. So Morning Chest by Vilhem Fragrances, a likable, wearable, versatile fragrance with, does have some charm to it. Let's jump to another fragrance here. This one will not disappoint you. This is Argos Triumph of Bachus. Ladies and gents, this is a beautiful white peach tobacco fragrance. It has resins as well. This is a gorgeous fragrance. It truly blew me away. I think certainly one of the best releases of 2020 from Argos. Their bottles are stunning. I think the quality is outstanding. Argos really blew it out of the park with what a tobacco fragrance can be. This is so wearable, so bright, so happy, so cheerful, and I think that this is really going to really become a big seller. I detect a little bit of leather to this fragrance in the dry down. This fragrance, stunning. You got to try this one to see what the hype is about, why people were excited about this fragrance when they first heard about it and tried it. I think that this fragrance deserves some hype and some talk in the fragrance community, because this one's a compliment getter. This one's likable. This one really does smell nice and good, and it has that mass appealing quality. Very easy to wear for anybody and everybody. Most of these fragrances are very unisex, and of course, all fragrances are. Anybody can wear anything, but this one truly is in that unisex spectrum of things. And ladies, this might be a tobacco you might love on yourself. So try out this fragrance. Look into the notes. Argos Triumph of Bacchus. Beautiful fragrance. Can't say enough good about it. It has that likable, happy feeling to it. So the next one here is called Korra from Orchestra Perfumes. This one's a little bit more leathery, a lot of spices here, a lot of incense, and but this one also is playful. It has some fruitiness to it with mango. And this mango is not a note you commonly see in fragrances anyways, and then it's able to pull off this very well balanced, not like, it has lots of spices and a very nice, usually you say a melange of citrus. I want to say a melange of spices. It's a beautiful blend of spices, but it's not too much. It's not too heavy. It's not aggressive. It's not sharp. It's not in your face. It's actually quite likable. And I think that if you do want a good spicy fragrance, this is one that's pretty easy to like and easy to get into. Has some leather. It feels so nice and cozy almost. I love this fragrance, Korra. It's a delight, and especially for you who like spicy fragrances with some leathery nuances, Korra is really going to do you magic, so check it out. It's honestly one of the best leather fragrances out there on the market right now. It might be one of the best to you. So let's jump into the next one. This is Reflection from the house of Masq Milano. This is almost on that Isui super aldehydic, transparent, molecule-like kind of vibe of a fragrance, but there's so much more going into this one. This is a beautiful fragrance. I get almost like a melon type vibe to this one. They describe it as an alien fragrance. It does have somewhat of a almost powdery feel to it, but it's got these fascinating blends of watery tones and muskiness and incense. It's just intoxicating. It's going to make you naturally smell like a better you. And a lot of people smell eccentric molecule. Eccentric molecule might be old business if you're deep into the fragrance game as a house. And this one brings that vibe and that quality, but brings a lot more character and a lot more complexity to the fragrance. So I think that's one reason Reflection's really great. Also, it makes aldehydic, that vibe, that feeling, that sparkly, crispy vibe. It almost makes it mass appealing, and brings it to it brings it to a spectrum, that anybody can approach this fragrance, anybody can wear it. And I didn't think that was ever going to be possible for aldehydes, and they were able to pull it off very, very well. So Reflection from Masq Milano, highly recommended. If you like Reflection Man as well, but want something again maybe lighter, more versatile. It doesn't smell like Reflection Man, but kind of having that same alien type of vibe. That's how they describe it, and I find that fascinating. So the next one here is called Nishane Wulong Cha. This is one of the ones I snuck in here. This one has been out for a little while longer, but I don't think it's gotten its due. I don't think it's as popular as it should be or it needs to be. This is a gorgeous, clean, crisp, fresh fragrance as well. Absolutely beautiful. It doesn't really have neroli or a lot of neroli, but it's able to have a almost white floral quality that's really approachable and likable. Very clean, very pristine. Some people describe it more as oolong tea. The citruses here are outstanding. It really brightens you up. It really makes you feel good. And this is a tea fragrance anybody and everybody can wear. Trust me, guys, I don't say this lightly. I've smelled a lot of citrus fragrances. You have smelled a lot of citrus fragrances, and a lot of them really don't excite me anymore. And I have a hard time with aquatics especially, but even citruses usually don't excite me, and I don't feel the price is justified, because to me, citruses don't feel expensive. They don't feel too much like luxury, and I don't want to spend a lot of money to smell like lemon, honestly. But this is a citrus fragrance where the price is justified, and I can recommend this fragrance for what they're asking for their price from Nishane. High concentrations, long lasting. You get the full 100 ml. Wulong Cha from Nishane, recommended here. Centaur fragrance, great fragrance. It is on my buy list, and it might be my favorite clean, fresh kind of fragrance of all time. Honestly, it's an outstanding juice, guys. I highly recommend it. The next one is a little bit of a wild card. This is Sunset Oud. It's not a scary oud fragrance, but I did want to put this one here from amououd. They do have some other fragrances that I think might even be better releases, but as far as mass appealing goes, this is great. This also got a lot of people into oud this year. This is a very likable, very easy to approach oud fragrance. It has this almost like leathery, slightly ambery undertones to this fragrance. There's some incense. There's a beautiful citrus off the top that really invites you to the fragrance. And the oud here is not hard to wear. It's not hard to like, and honestly, it's quite good juice. So highly recommend you try this fragrance. This is very light, and honestly might be easier to wear than Oud Malaki by Chopard or any other oud fragrance I've ever suggested. This is very easy to get into, and not animalic and not scary at all. So if you have some money and you want your first oud fragrance, Sunset Oud might be the perfect one. So again, it's super fresh, and it has this mellow, cozy vibe, just like watching a sunset go down. It's almost somehow it's a little bit warm and woody, but it's not, doesn't really have spices. So they put some magic in the bottle, and I think it came out just right. So Sunset Oud from the House of Amououd, and I will link all these down below so you can check them out. I usually don't do that, but I want to help you guys out. The next one's called Meander from the House of Amouage. At first was very, very worried about them stepping a little bit away from their Arabic roots, serving the royalty of Oman with beautiful incenses and resins and ambers and those kinds of things. But they really did a great job with this fragrance. This has some green tones. I almost get a minty vibe out of this. It has beautiful creamy sandalwood. Meander is just gorgeous. It has a little bit of a smoky, leathery vibe, just a tiny bit. Very subdued, but ultimately this is just a beautiful, it's going to give you almost slightly a green vibe, almost, but it's green almost, but creamy and light and almost transparent in its own way. This fragrance speaks refinement. This fragrance speaks class. And for a fragrance of this type, I never thought I would say something that feels almost like a white leather, something that almost feels like a fresh green nuance, and almost like, and definitely does have creamy sandalwood. I never thought that that kind of vibe would make it into that mass appealing sphere of things. Almost has a ombre leather, like by Tom Ford, kind of effect to this fragrance. So really good release. I think it's outstanding. Honestly might remind you of again, ombre leather, but they did it with sandalwood. They did something different to this one, and I think it's an outstanding release. So check that one out. Meander by Amouage. Also, all these are unisex. Again, anybody can wear these, and that's one reason they're so likable. Really, really mass appealing, likable fragrances. The next one is Electimuss Amber Aquilaria. I think that's how you say it. This is a beautiful cheaper, modern cheaper fragrance. Very complex, very full-bodied, has some just beautiful booziness to it. An outstanding fragrance. If you like, this one is a little bit more bold. Some of the other ones I showed were lighter. This one is bold. It's an amber lover's dream. It's a boozy fragrance lover's dream. And Amber Aquilaria, outstanding creation from the House of Electimuss. Also, shout out to Black Caviar, also an outstanding release. But ladies and gents, I recommend you try this one. It's one of the better boozy fragrances I've ever tried, and the amber here is absolutely high quality, absolutely stunning. I recommend you try it. So let's jump to the last one, guys, ladies and gents. We got actually two more. I tricked you. Didn't mean to do that, but the next one's Tobacco Dynasty from the House of Noble Royal. So this is a beautiful, spicy tobacco fragrance, very easy to like, very easy to get into. It's just so fancy. It has some cedar to it. It also has some boozy elements. This one is one of the most wearable, likable tobacco fragrances I've ever tried. It's bright, it's unisex, it's just so darn good. You have to try it to believe it. Tobacco Dynasty. If you're a real tobacco head, it's not going to be aggressive. But if you are a little bit afraid of tobacco, if you've never found the right tobacco, and you like, again, this fragrance list is about happy fragrances. If you like happy feeling fragrances, this one definitely has that quality to it. So beautiful fragrance. They're able to make it a little bit mellow in the background with tonka. They were able to pull off a little bit of wizardry with spices and leather and tonka that I've never really think I've seen in a fragrance either. So congratulations, Noble Royal, which is another brand you might not even know about that's on your radar. And another brand that should be on your radar that isn't getting enough love is Chris Collins, and he has a fragrance out here called Renaissance. Now, this is a very likable, wearable fragrance, but I wanted to put it on your radar. This is a fragrance that transforms and morphs. It's really like three fragrances in one. At first, it's aquatic. Then it has almost this like a full-bodied waxy honey, almost on the animalic touch of things, almost rustic, and then it dries down to this creamy, soft, semi-sweet, almost like ambery type of base. So this fragrance has a lot of complexity and nuances, but yeah, it's likable, and yet it's wearable, and I usually don't like aquatics, but I do find this truly fascinating. I think that this is a fragrance that has charm, likability, and it has enough to entertain some of the people who are deeper into the niche game. If you aren't so deep into the niche game, this is still approachable, but it will change and it will morph on you. If you like your fragrances to stay the same and be the same when you first spray them, this one's going to change on you. And for some people, this is going to be a great experience, and I highly suggest and support this brand in this house and the work that they're doing. So he's a good guy, Chris Collins, and he puts some serious ingenuity and some craft into this one. And honestly, I haven't smelled a lot of fragrances that pulled off that aquatic top notes, morphing into something else. Tom Ford's Rive d'Ambre is one of the only other ones I've ever smelled that was able to do this. So this might not be a masterpiece for everybody, but technically, on that technical side of things, I think this is a masterpiece in that way of things. So Renaissance by Chris Collins, certainly worth giving a try. Might help you get deeper in the niche if that's something you want to do. And again, has honey and just so much character to it. It's worth trying, and it's not scary at all. It's definitely one of those fragrances where you might be scared, but I think it'll sing to you just right. So, ladies and gents and everybody out there, I hope that you enjoyed my top 10 list of best fragrance releases of 2020. I tried to bring you some happy, cheerful, mass-appealing, bright, light fragrances for you that I think that have big potential to become big compliment getters in the upcoming years, in the upcoming months. I think that this fragrance has tons of potential to become very popular fragrance releases, and I hope that you're doing fantastic out there. So I'll see you next time, everybody. Wear what you love, rock what you got, stay beautiful, stay safe, stay beautiful out there, and I'll catch you in the next video, everybody. Happy holidays to you. And let me know in the comment section below, which fragrance do you think is going to be the biggest release? Which fragrance do you think is going to be the bigger release out of all of these releases? And which one sounded good to you? Which one do you have to try? Guys, I think people are going to enjoy these. So I'll see you next time, everybody. Wear what you love, rock what you got. And I'll catch you in the next video. And bye.